By 11:15 on a Tuesday, I had already decided the day was spoiled. Not ruined, because ruin takes effort and usually an accomplice, but spoiled the way cream is spoiled, quietly and with no appeal worth making. The cause was a woman in a hat, the color of wet ashes, who rang the front bell during one of the rare intervals when Nero Wolfe preferred the world to stay outside, and I preferred it there with him. I opened the door and got a look at her before she spoke. Mid-30s, maybe, though strain had been at her with a fine tool. Good coat, expensive gloves, and a face arranged with care except for the eyes. She held no handbag, only a flat leather case tucked under one arm. "I must see Nero Wolfe," she said. "You and tax collectors," I told her. "Have you got an appointment?" "No." "Then you have hope in your heart or money in your pocket?" "Both, I think." That was a fair line, and I let her into the hall. I took her to the office, where Wolfe was behind his desk. "Mr. Wolfe," I said, "this is a lady who claims to possess both hope and currency." He transferred his eyes to her. "Sit down. Archie, your wit is often an unauthorized tax on speech." She sat. "My name is Evelyn Voss." Wolfe closed his eyes for half a beat. "You may proceed." She glanced at me, then back to him. "I was told you are discreet." "You were told correctly," Wolfe said. "But discretion is not charity. State the matter." She drew a breath. "A man died 3 days ago. Officially, it was an accident. I believe he was killed." Wolfe opened his eyes. "The man's name?" "Graham Pell. He was my employer." "Your occupation?" "I was his secretary for 4 years." "Were," I said. "Past tense because he is dead or because you are cautious?" She turned to me. "Because both are true." Wolfe grunted. "Continue." "He fell from the terrace at Riverdale after a dinner party. The police accepted the account of the guests. He had been drinking. He stepped backward in the dark and went over a low stone wall." "And you disagree?" Wolfe said. "Yes." "Why?" She pressed her gloved fingers together. "Because when I saw him in the chapel before burial, he was wearing a smile." I waited. Wolfe didn't. "That is either absurd or insufficient." "It is neither. Mr. Pell never smiled that way, not in 4 years, not once. He smiled to flatter, to mock, to postpone, to dismiss. The one on his face in the chapel did not belong to him. It looked placed there." I said, "Morticians have ambitions too." She shook her head. "Not like that. It was wrong, as if he had known something a moment before death, something private and triumphant. But there was bruising near his throat." "Did you tell the police this?" "Yes." They listened. Then they explained death to me. "They are good at that," I said. She ignored me. Mr. Pell had enemies, competitors, discarded partners, frightened employees. He enjoyed collecting all 4. But there were only 5 people at the dinner besides him, and all of them had reasons to want him silenced. "Names," Wolfe said. "His niece, Lenore Pell. Adrian Kay, his attorney. Stephen Murch, who managed Pell Biologics. Mrs. Viola Dane, who had been engaged to him once. And Dr. Basil Ormond, our consultant he was threatening to ruin." I got out my notebook. 5 names is a promising number. Wolfe said, "What do you want from me?" "The truth." "No. Truth is a cloud word. What action do you want?" She opened the leather case and placed a check on my desk blotter. I looked at it and kept my face. $10,000 buys a fine amount of truth. "I want you to prove that Graham Pell did not simply fall," she said. "And if one of them killed him, I want that known before his estate is settled." "Ah." Wolfe's eyes narrowed. "There is an estate question." "Yes." "There is always an estate question," I said. She looked at Wolfe. He changed his will 6 days before he died. Wolfe leaned back and planted his fingertips together. "Miss Voss, Why did you come here instead of to the police with the will change in your hand? Because I no longer have it, she said. I had a copy yesterday morning. By noon it was gone from my apartment. Nothing else was touched, only the will copy. Someone knew I had it. The room settled around that. Archie, Wolfe said, take Miss Voss's statement, then telephone Inspector Kramer and ask whether he is still capable of speech before lunch. I took Miss Voss to the yellow room and gave her a chair that didn't encourage either comfort or melodrama. She chose composure. That helped. I opened my notebook and told her to begin at the beginning, which in her case meant 4 years ago, when she had first taken dictation from a man who, by her account, had made a profession out of rearranging other people's futures. Graham Pell didn't trust anyone, she said. He trusted systems, leverage, and fear. I kept his calendar, his correspondence, and his private files. Not all of them, but enough to understand that he was always preparing 3 moves ahead. Of whom? I asked. Everyone. Good, I said. Let's keep it local. The dinner. Who invited whom? He invited all of them. It was not a social dinner. It was a gathering with a purpose, though he didn't tell me what it was. He told me to ensure they all attended. They did. Time. 8 o'clock. The terrace doors were open. It was warm. And the wine was good, I said. It always was. Describe the sequence. They dined. I was not present. I know what I know from what each of them said afterward and from what Mr. Pell had told me earlier that day. Which was? That he intended to settle matters. That phrase, settle matters. Did he smile when he said it? I asked. No. He smiled afterward, alone, when he thought I wasn't looking. Noted, I said. Proceed. They moved to the terrace for coffee. There was a discussion, heated according to Mr. K. Voices were raised. At some point Mr. Pell stepped away toward the far end. The lights were dim there. A minute or 2 later there was a sound, a cry, and then they found him below. Who found him first? Dr. Ormond and Mr. Murch went down together. And the others? Miss Pell, Lenore, remained on the terrace. Mrs. Dane followed the men after a moment. Mr. K telephoned for help. Convenient, I said. She nodded. Yes. Did anyone claim to have been near him when he went over? No. They all said he was alone. Which is almost never true, I said. All right. The will. She folded her hands. 6 days before his death, Mr. Pell dictated changes. I typed them. He had them executed that afternoon. The previous will favored his niece Lenore with a majority share, with specific bequests to certain charities and a trust for research. The new will, she paused, did something impolite, I said. It disinherited Lenore entirely. That is impolite. It left controlling interest in Pell Biologics to Stephen Murch. I whistled softly. From manager to monarch. Yes. There were also provisions for Mr. K and Dr. Ormond, though less significant. Mrs. Dane received nothing. Neither did I. That last is a shock, I said. She didn't smile. I made a copy that evening. I kept it in a folder at home. Yesterday morning it was gone. Who knew you had it? No one, not directly. But Mr. Pell had a way of making people feel watched. Locks forced? No. Windows? Closed. Servants? I have none. Neighbors? Respectable and incurious. Which makes them dangerous, I said. Anything else missing? No. Anything disturbed? My desk drawer was slightly ajar. Which drawer? The one with the file. Of course, I said. All right. Now tell me about the 5 guests as you know them. She did, and I wrote. Lenore Pell. Late 20s. Quiet. Careful. Raised partly by her uncle and partly against him. Adrian K. Attorney. Precise. Loyal to fees, not to men. Stephen Murch. Efficient. Ambitious. the kind who measures rooms in terms of what they might yield. Viola Dane, elegant, wounded once and not inclined to forget. Basil Ormond, a doctor with a specialty in biochemical consulting, currently at odds with Pell over a contract and, according to Voss, under threat of exposure for something not yet public. When she finished, I closed the notebook. "You've given me a room full of reasons." "I know. Reasons don't push people over walls," I said. "They only stand there and nod." "I thought you would say that." "I often do." I took her back to the office. Wolfe had not moved in any visible way, which meant he had been thinking. "Archie," he said. "She is consistent," I told him, "and she has a $10,000 opinion." "Good," Wolfe said. "Miss Voss, you will leave your address and telephone number with Archie. Do not speak to any of the persons you have named about your visit here. If you are approached, you will say nothing of value. And if you are threatened, you will inform us at once." She rose. "Will you take the case?" "I have taken it," Wolfe said. "You will go." She went. I saw her out, watched the ash-colored hat move down the steps, and came back. "Well," I said. Wolfe's eyes were half closed. "We will proceed on 2 assumptions. First, that Mr. Pell's death was not accidental. Second, that the theft of the will copy indicates a party with both knowledge and urgency." "And a key or a talent," I said. "Yes." "Where do you want me?" "Everywhere I am not," Wolfe said. "Begin with Mr. K. Lawyers talk when they believe they are controlling the conversation. Encourage that belief." "And the others?" "In due course. Also, telephone Mr. Saul Panzer. Inform him that his discretion is required. He will observe Miss Voss's apartment building and report any irregularities." "You think the thief might return?" "I think the thief might have left something unfinished." I got to my feet. "And the smile?" Wolfe opened his eyes fully. "We will not neglect it. A smile that does not belong is an intrusion. I dislike intrusions." "So do I said. "They ring the bell?" I left the brownstone with Wolfe's instructions arranged in my head like a set of cards I didn't want shuffled too soon. First stop was Adrian Kay, attorney at law, who occupied a corner office high enough above the street to pretend that gravity applied differently to him. His receptionist gave me the kind of smile that meant she had been trained to ration it, and after I gave her my name and watched it land, she disappeared and returned with permission. Kay was behind a wide desk that had never known clutter and probably never would. "Mr. Goodwin," he said, standing just enough to satisfy manners without encouraging friendship. "I've heard of you." "Then you know I'm economical," I said. "I won't waste your time." "That would be a first for your profession." "Lawyers waste time professionally," I said. "I do it recreationally." He allowed himself a thin smile. "What can I do for you?" "Graham Pell," I said. The smile went away like it had a prior engagement. "A tragic accident. That's one way to describe it. Another is useful." "For whom?" "That's what I'm here to find out." "You were at dinner?" "Yes." "And you called for help?" "Yes." "Walk me through it." He leaned back. We dined. There was conversation, some of it contentious. Mr. Pell enjoyed provoking people. After dinner, we moved to the terrace. Mr. Pell separated himself from the group. There was a noise. We found him below. I called the police. "Contentious," I said. "About what?" "Business." "That's a large word. Make it smaller." "Contracts, obligations, disputes." Mr. Pell had many. "Did he threaten anyone that night?" He hesitated a fraction, then smoothed it. He made statements that could be construed as threats. By whom? By anyone inclined to take him seriously. "Did you?" "I take all my clients seriously," he said. "Were you still his client?" "I was his attorney." "Present tense?" He looked at me. "He is dead, Mr. Goodwin." "Lawyers are good with ghosts," I said. "Let's talk about the will." His fingers touched each other lightly. What about it? He changed it 6 days before he died. That is not unusual. He disinherited his niece. That is his right. He left control to Stephen Murch. That is also his right. And he made provisions for you and Dr. Ormond. He didn't answer at once. I do not discuss the private dispositions of my clients. You will when it suits you, I said. Does it suit you now? No. Did anyone at dinner know about the change? I cannot say. That's a lawyer's answer, I said. It sounds like speech but isn't. He leaned forward. Mr. Goodwin, if you have a point, you may make it. I have several, I said. Here's one. Someone broke into Evelyn Voss's apartment and took her copy of the will. Only the will. Nothing else. His eyes sharpened. How do you know that? Because she told me, and because I'm inclined to believe her. Does that interest you? It concerns me, he said. If a document has been stolen, then someone was worried about it, I said. Which someone? I have no idea. You're a poor liar, I said. His mouth tightened. You are an impertinent man. I've been called worse by better, I said. Let's try another angle. Who stood to lose the most, if that will stood? Miss Pell. And who stood to gain the most? Mr. Murch. And you? I'm compensated for my services, he said. Which improved, I said. He didn't deny it. Is that all? For now, I said. One more thing. When you saw Pell on the terrace, how was he standing? Near the far end, by the low wall. Facing which way? Toward the river, I think. You think? It was dark. Was anyone near him? No. Are you sure? He met my eyes. Yes. Good, I said. Certainty is expensive. Keep the receipt. I left him there with his desk and his controlled air, and went down to the street where gravity behaved itself again. Next was Stephen Murch, which meant Pell Biologics, which meant a building that smelled faintly of money and disinfectant. Murch's office was efficient in the way of a man who believes time can be bent if you lean on it hard enough. He didn't stand when I came in. Goodwin, he said. Wolfe's man? That's me, I said. You've been promoted. I've been busy, he said. If this is about Mr. Pell, I've said everything to the police. They didn't ask the right questions, I said. I might. He gestured. Let's ask. You were at dinner? Yes. You argued with him. We discussed business. Did he threaten you? He threatened everyone. Specifically. He implied that certain irregularities might be brought to light. In your department? In the company, he said. He was not subtle. Were there irregularities? He smiled without warmth. In any enterprise of size, there are always irregularities. Did he have proof? I don't know. You don't know or you won't say. He shrugged. Both can be true. Did you know about the will? No. Would you have liked to? He looked at me. Are you suggesting I killed him for an inheritance I didn't know existed? I'm suggesting people do things for less, I said. After dinner, on the terrace. Where were you when he went over? With Dr. Ormond. We were discussing a contract. And then? We heard something. We went to the wall. We looked down. We went down. Together. Yes. Who reached him first? I did. And? He was dead, Murch said. Or very nearly. Did you touch him? I checked for a pulse. Anywhere else? No. Did you notice anything about his face? He frowned. What do you mean? A smile, I said. Did you see one? He hesitated, and it wasn't a fraction this time. No. Think again. I said no. People don't usually die smiling when they fall, I said. People don't usually fall, he said. And yet. I let that sit. One more thing. Someone broke into Miss Voss's apartment and took a copy of the will. His eyes flicked just once. If that's true, It suggests someone is trying to interfere. With what? With the administration of the estate. Or with the truth, I said. He leaned back. If you have evidence, take it to the police. I prefer to take it to Wolfe, I said. He appreciates it more. Outside, I checked my watch. Still time before lunch and before Wolfe's patience expired. I called Saul from a payphone. You're on Miss Voss, I said. Anything? Not yet, Saul said. Quiet building, too quiet. I'll keep watching. Do that, I said. Quiet makes me nervous. Good, Saul said. It should. I hung up and headed back toward the brownstone with 2 interviews in my pocket and the feeling that the room was getting smaller without anyone moving the walls. When I got back to the brownstone, and Fritz was laying out lunch with the kind of precision that suggested he approved of the menu more than he approved of the day. Wolfe was already at the table, which meant I was late enough to irritate him, but not late enough to earn a speech about time as a moral failing. You have returned, he said without looking up. I had considered taking the rest of the week, I told him, taking my chair. But I thought you might miss me. I do not miss inefficiency, he said. Report. I did, between bites and without embellishment. Wolfe doesn't like garnish unless it's edible. I gave him Kay's careful answers, Murch's efficient evasions, and the small flicker in Murch's eyes when I mentioned the stolen will. Wolfe listened with his eyes closed, which is his way of seeing better. When I finished, he opened them. Mr. Kay is concealing knowledge. Mr. Murch is concealing intention. Both are unremarkable. What is of interest is the congruence of their omissions. Congruence, I said. That's a good word for lunch. Do not chew it, he said. Consider it. They both deny proximity to the victim at the critical moment. That is improbable. 5 persons on a terrace do not arrange themselves into perfect isolation unless instructed. You think Pell arranged it? I said. I think Pell attempted to arrange something, Wolfe said. Whether he succeeded is another matter. Miss Voss said he intended to settle matters, I said. Maybe he was calling them one by one. Perhaps, Wolfe said, or perhaps he intended a collective revelation and was forestalled. By gravity, I said. By interference, Wolfe corrected. The smile remains. Right, I said. The smile that doesn't belong. Wolfe nodded. A man anticipating triumph may smile. A man falling unexpectedly does not. Therefore, either the fall was not unexpected, or the smile was imposed. Imposed how? I said. We're not talking about a painter with a brush. Not literally imposed, Wolfe said. Psychologically. If Mr. Pell believed himself to be in control, if he believed he had secured an advantage, he might carry that expression to the brink. And then get pushed, I said. Possibly, Wolfe said, or persuaded to step backward. Into nothing, I said. That takes skill. It takes knowledge of the man, Wolfe said. And timing. I took a sip of beer. Which brings us back to the 5. Indeed, Wolfe said. You will now see the remaining 3. Lenore Pell, Viola Dane, and Dr. Ormond, I said. Any preference? Miss Pell first, Wolfe said. Her disinheritance provides a motive of clarity. Miss Dane second, Dr. Ormond third. Physicians are often more revealing after others have spoken. Because they like to correct, I said. Because they like to be right, Wolfe said. I finished lunch, escaped before coffee became a lecture, and went out again. Lenore Pell lived in an apartment that had money but didn't flaunt it, which told me she had been raised around wealth without being owned by it. She opened the door herself. Mr. Goodwin, she said, I was expecting you. That's flattering, I said. I hadn't decided to come until 10 minutes ago. My uncle trained us all to expect unpleasantness, she said. You are less unpleasant than most. I'll try to improve, I said. May I come in? She let me in. Now the room was orderly without being stiff. She sat and indicated a chair. I took it. "You're here about the will," she said. "I'm here about your uncle," I said. "The will is part of him." "He enjoyed using it as a weapon," she said. "I suppose he succeeded one last time." "You knew about the change," I said. She met my eyes. "Yes." "Before he died?" "Yes." "Who told you?" "He did." "When?" "The afternoon it was signed." "What did he say?" "That I had disappointed him, that he intended to correct that." "Did he explain how you had disappointed him?" "He said I lacked resolve," she said, "that I hesitated when I should have acted." "Acted how?" "He didn't say." "Did you argue with him at dinner?" "Yes." "About the will?" "Yes." "Did anyone else know about it?" "I don't know," she said. "I think he wanted them to know, and he liked an audience." "Where were you on the terrace when he fell?" "Near the doors." "Did you see him go over?" "No." "Did you hear anything?" "A sound," she said. "A kind of exclamation. Not fear, surprise." "Did you see his face afterward?" She hesitated. "Briefly." "And?" "There was something wrong," she said. "I couldn't name it then." "A smile," I said. She looked at me sharply. "Yes." "Did that strike you as strange?" "Very," she said. "My uncle did not smile at the end of things. He smiled at the beginning." "That's a line," I said. "I'll keep it." "You may," she said. "It won't help you." "We'll see," I said. "One more thing. Someone broke into Miss Voss's apartment and took a copy of the will." She didn't flinch. "Then someone is afraid." "Of what?" "Of being known," she said. "Are you afraid?" She held my gaze. "Oh, no." "Good," I said. "It's an inconvenient emotion." I left her with her composure intact and moved on to Viola Dane, who lived in a place that knew it was beautiful and expected you to notice. She received me in a room that had arranged itself around her. "Archie Goodwin," she said. "I've heard of you." "Then you know I'm a disappointment," I said. "Not yet," she said. "Sit." I did. "You were engaged to Graham Pell," I said. "Once," she said. "Briefly, long enough to learn." "What did you learn?" "That he enjoyed possession more than companionship," she said. "I declined to be possessed." "And he declined to be refused," I said. "He attempted to negotiate," she said. I declined again. "Did you attend dinner to revisit negotiations?" "I attended because he asked," she said, "and because I wanted to see who else would come." "Who surprised you?" "Dr. Ormond," she said. "He looked like a man who had already lost something." "Did you argue with Pell?" "Yes." "About what?" "About the past," she said. "He believed it was negotiable." "I did not." "Where were you on the terrace when he fell?" "Moving toward him," she said, "but not close enough." "Did you see him?" "For a moment," she said. He turned slightly as if someone had spoken to him. "Did you hear the words?" "No." "Did you see his face?" "Afterward," she said. "It was inappropriate." "A smile," I said. "Yes," she said, as if he had won. "Did that strike you as odd?" "Everything about him was odd," she said. "That was different." I stood. "Thank you." "For what?" "For not lying well," I said. She smiled. "Be careful, Mr. Goodwin. You may begin to prefer it." Outside, the afternoon had settled into something that suggested patience was being tested somewhere. I headed for Dr. Ormond, with the sense that the circle was tightening, not because we were closing in, but because someone else was. Dr. Basil Ormond's office occupied a narrow slice of a building that seemed to have been designed by someone who distrusted width. The waiting room smelled faintly of antiseptic and resignation, and the nurse at the desk looked at me as if I were a symptom she hadn't yet categorized. "I don't have an appointment," I told her. "No one does today," she said. "Dr. Ormond is not receiving." "That's unfortunate," I said. Because I am. She didn't smile. I gave her my name anyway, and it did what it usually does in rooms where people have reasons to be cautious. She went through a door and came back after a moment. "He will see you briefly," she said. "Brief is my specialty," I said. Ormond's office was spare, which for a man in his line suggested either discipline or trouble. He stood when I entered, then sat again immediately, as if standing had been a reflex he regretted. "Mr. Goodwin," he said, "you work for Nero Wolfe." "I do," I said. "You were at dinner with Graham Pell." "Yes, and now he's dead." "That follows," he said. "You don't sound surprised." "I am not," he said. "Men like Pell do not die quietly. They simply choose the moment badly. Or someone chooses it for them," I said. "That too." I took the chair opposite him. "You had a dispute with him?" "I had a contract with him," Ormond said. "He had a habit of altering contracts unilaterally." "That's a dispute," I said. "It is a breach," he corrected. "Did he threaten you?" "Yes." "With what?" "With exposure," Ormond said. "He believed he had evidence that I had falsified certain data in a consultancy report." "Had you?" Ormond looked at me without blinking. "No." "That was quick," I said. "You didn't even consider lying." "I did," he said. "It would have been inefficient." "Efficiency is a comfort," I said. "Where were you on the terrace when he fell?" "With Mr. Murch," Ormond said. "We were discussing the implications of Pell's threats." "Implications," I said. "That's a polite word for panic." "I was not panicking," Ormond said. "I was calculating." "Did you hear anything before he went over?" "A voice," Ormond said. "His." "Saying what?" "I couldn't make out the words," he said. "The tone was confident." "Confident," I repeated. "Like a man who had just won something." "Yes." "Did you see him?" "Only after," Ormond said. "Below." "And his face?" Ormond hesitated. It was incongruous." "A smile," I said. "Yes." "Did that strike you as odd?" "Extremely," Ormond said. "Physiologically it was possible. Contextually it was not." "Meaning?" "Meaning it did not match the circumstances," he said. "One does not fall to one's death with that expression unless one believes one is not falling." I leaned back. "That's interesting." "It is obvious," Ormond said, "which is why it is being ignored." "By whom?" "By everyone," he said, "because it complicates the narrative." "I like complications," I said. "They keep me employed." "Then you will be busy," he said. I watched him a moment. "One more thing. Someone broke into Miss Voss's apartment and took a copy of the will." His eyes flicked to the side, then back. "If that is true, then someone is attempting to control the distribution of information." "Or the distribution of money," I said. "They are often the same," Ormond said. "Did you know about the will change?" "No." "Would it have mattered to you?" "Only insofar as it affected leverage," he said. "Whose leverage?" "Everyone's," he said. I stood. "Thank you, Doctor. You've been efficient." "I try," he said. Outside, the air had shifted. It wasn't colder, but it felt as if something had been removed from it, something that had been holding it steady. I didn't like it. I got back to the brownstone in time to find Wolfe in the office, not moving, and therefore thinking. I gave him Ormond, the confident tone, the incongruous smile, none in the neat alignment of everyone's recollection. No one near Pell, everyone hearing something, everyone noticing the same wrongness afterward. Wolfe listened without interruption. When I finished, he said, "We have unanimity where there should be discrepancy." 5 people. Same story, I said. "That's either coincidence or rehearsal." "It is neither," Wolfe said. "It is constraint." "By what?" "By the facts they cannot alter," Wolfe said. They all heard him speak. They all saw the result. They cannot deny the smile without inviting scrutiny. Therefore, they acknowledge it and dismiss it. Which leaves us with a man who thought he was winning, I said, and then lost his footing. Or was deprived of it, Wolfe said. I crossed to my desk. Saul called while you were thinking, I said. He's still on Miss Voss's building. Nurse says it's quiet. Too quiet, Wolfe grunted. He is correct to be suspicious of quiet. Also, I said, Inspector Kramer returned my call. He's capable of speech and willing to use it on us. Invite him, Wolfe said. Here. Yes. He'll bring his appetite, I said. I will not feed him, Wolfe said. Then he'll bring his temper, I said. Let him, Wolfe said. It may prove useful. The bell rang. I looked at Wolfe. He looked at me. Neither of us moved for a second, which is longer than it sounds when you're waiting for trouble to identify itself. Archie, Wolfe said. I was hoping you'd say that, I said. I went to the hall and opened the door. Miss Voss stood there again, without the hat this time and without composure. Mr. Goodwin, she said, someone has been in my apartment again. Anything missing? I said. No, she said. Not missing. Changed. Changed how? She swallowed. There's a note on my desk. It wasn't there this morning. What does it say? She looked at me, and for the first time her voice wasn't controlled. It says, he smiled because he knew me. I stepped back. Come in, I said. Wolfe will want to hear that. I took her coat without comment and led her straight to the office. Wolfe's eyes moved from me to her and settled there, measuring. You have returned, he said. Yes, she said, and the word carried strain now instead of control. There's been another intrusion. Sit, Wolfe said. She sat. I stayed standing long enough to watch her hands. They were steady enough to pass, which meant she was holding on by decision, not by luck. The note, Wolfe said. She opened her leather case again, slower this time, and then withdrew a folded sheet. I took it, glanced once, then handed it to Wolfe. Plain paper, typed, no signature, no flourish. Efficient menace. He smiled because he knew me. Wolfe read it twice, then set it on his desk. Describe precisely how you found it. It was on my desk, she said. Centered. I'd left the desk clear. I'm certain of that. Locks? Unforced. Windows? Closed. Any sign of disturbance? No, she said. Nothing else moved. Time of discovery? 10 minutes before I came here, she said. I went home briefly to collect some documents I thought you might need. I found the note. Did you touch anything else? No. Did anyone see you enter or leave? I don't know. Wolfe nodded. Archie, telephone Mr. Panzer. I went to the hall, called Saul, and got him on the third ring. Tell me you saw someone, I said. I saw no one enter or leave her apartment, Saul said. I've had the front and the service entrance covered. If someone went in, they were either invisible or already inside. Already inside, I said. That's cheerful. I don't do cheerful, Saul said. They do accurate. Stay there, I said, and widen the net. Talk to the super, the elevator operator, anyone who breathes. I already have, Saul said. No one saw anything. Then someone made sure they didn't, I said. Keep at it. I hung up and went back. Saul saw nothing, I said, which means we have either a ghost or a resident. We have neither, Wolfe said. We have access. Key, I said. Or knowledge of the lock, Wolfe said. Miss Voss, who has had legitimate access to your apartment in the past week. No one, she said. No one but me. Think carefully, Wolfe said. Deliveries, maintenance, acquaintances. No, she said. I am careful. Yes, Wolfe said. You are, which is why this is interesting. Because someone is more careful, I said. Because someone is confident, Wolfe said. Confidence breeds error. We will locate it. I looked at the note again. He smiled because he knew me. That's not a threat. That's a correction. Indeed, Wolfe said. It asserts knowledge. It attempts to redirect our attention from the act to the relationship. Meaning the killer wants us thinking about who Pell knew well enough to smile at, I said. Yes, Wolfe said. And perhaps to overlook something else. Like the timing, I said, or the method. Precisely. Miss Voss leaned forward. Do you know who wrote it? No, Wolfe said. But I know why it was written. Why? She asked. To provoke, Wolfe said. To insert themselves into the investigation without revealing themselves. It is a form of vanity. Or fear, I said. Vanity and fear are not mutually exclusive, Wolfe said. Often they are companions. I crossed to my desk. Kramer will be here, I said. You want him in on this? I want him informed, Wolfe said. There is a difference. The bell rang again. Busy day, I said. Answer it, Wolfe said. I did. Inspector Kramer filled the doorway like a statement of intent. He took in my face, then the hall, then stepped inside without waiting for an invitation he wasn't going to get. Where is he? He said. In his chair, I said. Where else? He went in. I followed, closed the door, and watched the room adjust. Wolfe, Kramer said. To Inspector, Wolfe said. Kramer's eyes went to Miss Voss, then to the note on Wolfe's desk. What's this? A development, Wolfe said. Which you were going to tell me about, Kramer said. I'm telling you now, Wolfe said. Kramer snorted. Save it. What have you got? I gave it to him clean. The dinner, the will, the theft, the note. He listened with the patience of a man who prefers facts but expects trouble. When I finished, he picked up the note, read it, and made a face. Cute. Not at all, Wolfe said. It is clumsy. Clumsy? Kramer said. Whoever wrote it got into her apartment twice without leaving a trace. Which is not clumsiness, Wolfe said. The note is. Kramer looked at him. Explain. It declares knowledge, Wolfe said. Unnecessarily. It attempts to guide us. That is an error. We do not require guidance. We, Kramer said. Yes, Wolfe said. You and I share an interest in resolving this matter. Kramer grunted. Don't get cozy. What's your angle? My angle is truth, Wolfe said. Yours is arrest. They are not incompatible. Kramer turned to Miss Voss. You told me about the bruising, he said. You didn't tell me about a smile. I did, she said. You said something about it, Kramer said. You didn't make it sound like a message. I didn't know it was, she said. Kramer looked at me. And now it is? It might be, I said. Or it might be someone trying to make it one. Kramer dropped the note back on the desk. All right, I'll put a man on her place. I'll have the building checked again, and I'll have a talk with your 5 friends. They are not my friends, I said. They will be, Kramer said. When I get through with them. Wolfe lifted a finger. Inspector, I request that you refrain from precipitate action. Kramer stared at him. You're requesting I don't do my job? I'm requesting that you do it with restraint, Wolfe said. Premature pressure will cause the guilty party to retreat further. They're already sneaking around apartments, Kramer said. How much further do you want them to retreat? Far enough to expose themselves, Wolfe said. Kramer snorted again. You always want them to perform? They usually oblige, Wolfe said. Kramer looked at Miss Voss. You're not staying here, he said. You'll go somewhere else tonight. We'll arrange it. She nodded. Good, Kramer said. He turned to me. And you, keep your nose out of trouble. I keep it in trouble, I said. It saves time. He gave me a look that meant he would remember that, then left. The room settled again, but not the same way. Wolfe leaned back. "We will accelerate," he said. "Meaning?" I said. "Meaning we will gather them," Wolfe said. "Not all at once. Not yet. But soon." "Because of the note," I said. "Because of the note," Wolfe said. "And because the author has announced themselves." "Without a name," I said. "With a trait," Wolfe said. "They believe they are known. That belief will betray them." I looked at the paper on his desk. "He smiled because he knew me," I said. Wolfe nodded. "Yes." "And you think that's the mistake?" I said. "It is the beginning of it," Wolfe said. "Now we must make it the end." Wolfe's version of acceleration never involved motion, which was one of the things that made it effective. And he stayed in his chair, closed his eyes, and rearranged the world until it suited him. My part was to go out and disturb it. "You will return to Mr. K," he said. "You will inform him that the will copy has been stolen and that a second intrusion has occurred. Observe his reaction. Then you will invite him here this evening." "Invite," I said. "Not summon." "Correct," Wolfe said. "He will come because he will believe it prudent." "And Murch?" I said. "Also invited," Wolfe said. "And Dr. Ormond, Miss Dane and Miss Pell will receive the same courtesy." "All 5 in one room," I said. "That's your idea of a quiet evening." "It will be quiet," Wolfe said. "Until it is not." I went first to Kay because lawyers, like clocks, prefer to be wound early. He received me with less polish than before, which meant something had shifted under the surface. "You again," he said. "I have a hobby," I said. "It involves repetition." "What is it now?" "An update," I said. "The copy of the will taken from Miss Voss's apartment has been supplemented." "Supplemented how?" "With a note," I said. "Typed. Left on her desk." He didn't move, but something in his face tightened by a degree. "What note?" I told him. He let out a breath he had been holding without knowing it. "That is absurd." "Is it?" I said. "It suggests the writer believes Pell recognized him at the moment of death." "Or her," Kay said. "Or her," I agreed. "Does that help you?" "No," he said. "It does not." "It might," I said, "if you think about it. Recognition implies proximity." He looked at me. "Are you accusing me of something?" "I'm informing you of something," I said. "And inviting you to Mr. Wolfe's office this evening. 7 o'clock. "For what purpose?" "For conversation," I said. "You like that?" He hesitated, then nodded. "Very well. I will come." "Good," I said. "Bring your certainty. It will be useful." Murch was next. He didn't pretend to be pleased to see me. "If this is another round of questions," he said, "you're wasting your time." "Not questions," I said. "Information and an invitation." He crossed his arms. "Go on." I gave him the note. He listened, and this time the flicker in his eyes was less controlled. "That's ridiculous," he said. "It's also interesting," I said. "It narrows the field." "How?" he said. Pell smiled because he knew the person, I said. So the person was known to him and close enough to be recognized in dim light. And that excludes strangers and favors acquaintances. "That includes all of us," Murch said. "Yes," I said. "It does." He stared at me. "You think one of us wrote that?" "I think someone wants us to think about it," I said, which is not the same thing. "And the invitation?" 7 o'clock, Wolfe's office. He hesitated, then gave a short nod. "I'll be there." "Good," I said. "Bring your calculations." Dr. Ormond was easier. He listened to the note without interruption and then said, "Provocation." "Vanity," I said. "Both," he said. "I will attend." Viola Dane took it with a smile that had more edges than warmth. "How theatrical," she said. He smiled because he knew me. It sounds like a line from a poor play. Then come see a better one, I said. 7 o'clock. I wouldn't miss it, she said. Lenore Pell listened quietly, then said, he would have enjoyed this. Which part? I said. Being the center of it, she said. Even now. You'll come? I said. Yes, she said. I want to see how it ends. So do I said. By the time I got back to the brownstone, the light was already shifting toward evening, and the house had settled into that particular stillness that means something is about to be disturbed on purpose. Fritz was in the kitchen, preparing dinner with the calm of a man who trusts that food will solve what people cannot. Wolfe was in the office, where he belonged. They will come, I said. Of course, Wolfe said. Confident, I said. They are not confident, Wolfe said. They are compelled. By what? I said. By uncertainty, Wolfe said. It is the most persuasive force. I took my desk. What's the plan? We will not confront them immediately, Wolfe said. We will observe. We will allow them to arrange themselves. And then? I said. And then we will disturb the arrangement, Wolfe said. With what? With the truth, Wolfe said. Or enough of it. I leaned back. You've got it figured. I have a structure, Wolfe said. The figure will emerge. Based on the smile, I said. Based on the smile, Wolfe said. And on the note. You still think the note is the mistake, I said. It is, Wolfe said. It reveals a desire to be acknowledged. Killers don't usually want that, I said. Some do, Wolfe said. Particularly those who believe themselves clever. Which is most of them, I said. Precisely, Wolfe said. The bell rang at 5 minutes to 7. I went to the door. Kay stood there, punctual and composed, carrying his caution like a briefcase. I took his coat and led him in. Murch arrived next, then Ormond, then Miss Dane, and finally Lenore Pell. 5 people, 5 sets of eyes, 5 variations on the same theme. Control. I closed the door on the last of them and followed into the office. Wolfe looked at them, one by one, not speaking. He let the silence do its work, stretching it until it began to press. Good evening, he said at last. You have all come. That is efficient. No one answered. Wolfe steepled his fingers. We are here because Mr. Graham Pell is dead, because his death is not satisfactorily explained, and because one of you has taken steps to interfere with the discovery of the truth. A small movement went through the room like a ripple that didn't want to be seen. Wolfe continued. May I refer to the theft of a document and to the placement of a note? He smiled because he knew me. He let that sit. You have all seen his face, Wolfe said. You have all remarked upon the incongruity of that expression. You have all, in your separate ways, acknowledged it and dismissed it. I will not dismiss it. His eyes moved from one to another. It is the key, Wolfe said. And the lock. I watched them, waiting for the first crack, the first misstep, the first sign that someone's certainty had shifted. It didn't come yet, but it would. Wolfe let the silence continue just long enough for it to become uncomfortable, then just a little longer so that it began to work. Mr. Kay, he said at last, without raising his voice, you are a man accustomed to controlling information. You will begin. Tell us what Mr. Pell intended to do that evening. Kay shifted slightly, then stilled himself. I have already told Mr. Goodwin. You have told him what was safe, Wolfe said. I'm asking for what was true. Kay's eyes flicked once toward the others, then back to Wolfe. He intended to confront us, he said. All of us. He had documents, he said so. What documents? Wolfe said. Evidence, Kay said, of irregularity. Financial, contractual, personal. He implied that each of us had something to lose. Did you see these documents? Wolfe asked. No. Did anyone? No one answered. Mr. Murch, Wolfe said, turning his head slightly. Did you see them? Murch shook his head. No. But you believe they existed, Wolfe said. Yes. Why? Because Pell did not bluff without leverage, Murch said. Indeed, Wolfe said. Miss Pell, did your uncle show you anything that afternoon? Lenore Pell sat very still. No, she said. He told me about the will. Nothing else. Miss Dane? Wolfe said. No, she said. He preferred to surprise. Dr. Ormond? No, Ormond said. He preferred to threaten. Wolfe nodded. So we have a man who claimed to possess damaging information on all present, who gathered you in one place, and who then removed himself to a position of relative isolation. Why? To make an entrance, Miss Dane said dryly. To control the sequence, Murch said. To intimidate, Ormond said. To be seen, Lenore said quietly. Wolfe inclined his head. All plausible. Now the critical moment. Each of you has stated that Mr. Pell was alone at the far end of the terrace. Each of you has stated that you were not in immediate proximity. And each of you has described hearing a sound, an exclamation, before discovering him below. He paused. And each of you has acknowledged the presence of a smile on his face, which you found incongruous. No one spoke. Wolfe leaned forward slightly. This unanimity is instructive. It indicates not truth, but agreement. Kay stiffened. Are you suggesting we have colluded? I am suggesting, Wolfe said, that you have each selected a version of events that protects you. That is absurd, Murch said. Is it? Wolfe said. Let us examine the alternatives. If Mr. Pell was not alone, then someone was with him. If someone was with him, then that person was in a position to influence his movement. If that person influenced his movement, then that person bears responsibility for his fall. The room tightened. And yet, Wolfe continued, not you all deny proximity. Therefore, either you all lie, or one of you lies, and the others find it convenient to support the fiction. That's nonsense, Kay said sharply. We have no reason to protect anyone. On the contrary, Wolfe said. You have every reason. If one of you is guilty, the others are witnesses. Witnesses are vulnerable. They prefer ambiguity. That's speculation, Murch said. No, Wolfe said. It is observation. He lifted a finger slightly. Now the note. He smiled because he knew me. This is an attempt to define the moment of death. It asserts recognition. It implies that the killer was known to Mr. Pell and was close enough to be identified in poor light. That includes all of us, Miss Dane said. Yes, Wolfe said. It does. But it also excludes one possibility. Which? Ormond asked. That Mr. And Pell was taken by surprise, Wolfe said. If he recognized the person, and if he smiled, then he did not anticipate immediate harm. He anticipated advantage. I watched them. That landed. Therefore, Wolfe went on, the killer was not an overt aggressor. The killer was someone Mr. Pell believed he could dominate, manipulate, or expose without risk. Lenore's hands tightened in her lap. That narrows the field, Wolfe said. Mr. Kay, Mr. Pell did not dominate you. You negotiated. You parried. You were his equal in your domain. Kay's jaw set, but he said nothing. Mr. Murch, Wolfe said, Mr. Pell may have believed he dominated you, but you did not believe it. Your posture is not that of a man who accepts subordination. You would not approach him in a manner that invited recognition without control. Murch's eyes narrowed. Miss Dane, Wolfe said, Mr. Pell had once attempted to possess you and failed. He would not expect compliance from you. Recognition would not produce a smile. It would produce caution. Miss Dane's lips curved slightly. That is accurate. Dr. Ormond, Wolfe said, you were under threat. You knew it. You would not approach him alone in dim light without preparation. Recognition would produce calculation, not triumph. Ormond inclined his head. Agreed. Wolfe's gaze moved, settled. Miss Pell, he said. The room shifted. Lenore did not move. Yes, she said. Your uncle believed he dominated you, Wolfe said. He believed you lacked resolve. He told you so. He disinherited you to correct what he perceived as weakness. Her voice was steady. Yes. Therefore, Wolfe said, if you approached him, he would not anticipate danger. Soon he would anticipate submission, or confession, or plea. Silence. And if in that moment you revealed something to him, something he did not expect, he might smile. Not with amusement, but with satisfaction. The satisfaction of a man who believes he has been vindicated. Lenore's eyes did not leave Wolfe. What would I reveal? Wolfe leaned back. That is the question. No one spoke. Wolfe let it hang, then said, Miss Pell, you knew of the will. You knew you had been disinherited. You knew your uncle intended to expose others. What did you intend? She took a breath. I intended to speak to him. Alone? Wolfe said. Yes. On the terrace? Wolfe said. Yes. And you did? Wolfe said. She did not answer immediately. Miss Pell, Wolfe said, did you approach your uncle at the far end of the terrace? She closed her eyes briefly, and then opened them. Yes. There it was. The first crack. The room tightened further. And when you approached him, Wolfe said, what did you say? I told him he was wrong, she said. About me. About everything. And he smiled, Wolfe said. Yes, she said. Why? Wolfe asked. Because he thought I was proving him right, she said. He thought I was finally reacting, finally showing resolve. And then? Wolfe said. She hesitated. Miss Pell, Wolfe said softly, did you push him? No, she said. Did you touch him? Yes, she said. How? She stopped. Wolfe's voice was very quiet. Continue. I took his arm, she said. I wanted him to listen. And then? Wolfe said. He stepped back, she said. He always stepped back when he wanted distance. And the wall was behind him, Wolfe said. Yes, she said. And he went over, Wolfe said. Yes. Silence. No push, Murch said quickly. She said so. No, Wolfe said. She did not push him, but she caused him to move. That's not murder, Kay said. No, Wolfe said. It is not sufficient. He turned his head slightly. The note, Wolfe said. Miss Pell did not write it. She has no need to. She has already admitted proximity. All eyes shifted again. Therefore, Wolfe said, the note was written by someone else, someone who was present, who heard the exchange, and who wishes to redirect suspicion. He let that settle. Which leaves us, Wolfe said, with 4. And now the room was very small indeed. No one moved. That was the trouble with Wolfe's method. When he pulled a thread, it didn't snap. It tightened, and everyone felt it at once. Lenore Pell sat very straight, through her admission hanging in the room like something that had weight but not yet direction. The others adjusted to it in different ways. Kay grew sharper, as if preparing a defense he hadn't been asked for. Murch stiffened, calculating. Miss Dane watched with interest that had nothing to do with sympathy. Ormond remained still, which for him meant activity under the surface. Wolfe let it sit long enough to become uncomfortable again. Miss Pell has established proximity, he said. She approached Mr. Pell. She spoke to him. She touched his arm. He stepped back and fell. That is one sequence. It's the sequence, Murch said quickly. No, Wolfe said. It is a sequence. It is not yet the sequence. You're splitting hairs, Kay said. I'm distinguishing them, Wolfe said. Mr. Pell did not simply step backward in response to Miss Pell's words. He reacted to something. The smile indicates anticipation, not alarm. Therefore, what Miss Pell said, or what Mr. Pell believed she said, was not a threat. It was confirmation. Confirmation of what? Ormond asked. Of his belief that he was in control, Wolfe said. Of his belief that he had succeeded. Lenore's voice was quiet. He thought I was surrendering. Yes, Wolfe said, or confessing, or yielding, something that gratified him. And that made him step back, Murch said. It made him relax, Wolfe said, and a relaxed man is less cautious. That still doesn't make it murder, Kay said. No, Wolfe said. It does not. He lifted a finger slightly. But we are not finished. He turned his head. Just enough. Mr. Kay, Wolfe said. You stated that, Mr. Zippel intended to confront all of you with evidence. You also stated that you did not see these documents. Yet you behaved as if they existed. Why? Kay's jaw tightened. Because Pell did not make idle threats. Indeed, Wolfe said. And yet, after his death, no such documents have been produced. That proves nothing, Kay said. It proves something, Wolfe said. It proves either that the documents did not exist, or that they have been removed. Removed by whom? Miss Dane asked. By someone with access, Wolfe said. Someone with knowledge, someone with motive. Murch shifted. You're suggesting one of us took them. I am suggesting that possibility, Wolfe said, and I'm also suggesting that the same person wrote the note. That's speculation, Murch said again. No, Wolfe said. It is inference. He leaned forward slightly. The note is not merely a statement, Wolfe said. It is an insertion. It seeks to influence the interpretation of events. It asserts that Mr. Pell recognized his killer and smiled because of that recognition. This directs attention toward personal familiarity and away from other factors. Such as? Ormond asked. Such as preparation, Wolfe said. Such as manipulation. Such as timing. I watched them. One of them blinked a fraction too late. It wasn't much, but Wolfe saw it too. I could tell by the way his eyes shifted. Dr. Ormond, Wolfe said. Ormond did not react outwardly. Yes? You described Mr. Pell's tone as confident, Wolfe said. You also described the smile as incongruous, but physiologically possible. You are a man attentive to detail. Did you notice anything else? Ormond's gaze held steady. No. No hesitation, Wolfe said. No additional observation. No, Ormond said. Wolfe nodded slowly. That is unfortunate. For whom? Ormond asked. For you, Wolfe said. The room tightened another notch. You are lying, Wolfe said, without raising his voice. Murch made a small sound. Kay turned slightly. Miss Dane's eyes sharpened. Lenore did not move. Ormond's expression did not change. That is a serious accusation. It is a precise one, Wolfe said. You are lying by omission. You observed something you have not reported. That is not true, Ormond said. It is, Wolfe said, because you are the only one who has considered the smile in physiological terms. You have examined it, not merely noted it. That indicates a level of attention inconsistent with your claim of minimal observation. Ormond's hands remained still, but his fingers had tightened slightly. You saw more, Wolfe said. What was it? Silence. Dr. Ormond, Wolfe said, if you do not answer, I will supply the answer. It may not be as favorable. Ormond's eyes flicked just once toward Murch. That was enough. Wolfe saw it. I saw it. Murch saw that we saw it, and his face changed. There was a mark, Ormond said suddenly. No one spoke. On his throat, Ormond said. Not bruising from the fall. Pressure, recent. Kramer would have enjoyed that, I thought. You observed this, Wolfe said. Yes, Ormond said. And you did not report it, Wolfe said. No, Ormond said. Why? Wolfe said. Because it complicated matters, Ormond said, and because I was not certain of its significance. You were certain enough to notice it, Wolfe said. Yes, Ormond said. And you chose silence, Wolfe said. That's yes. Because, Wolfe said. Ormond hesitated. Because it suggested intervention, he said finally, before the fall. The room shifted again. Intervention by whom? Kay demanded. Ormond looked at him. I did not know. You suspected, Wolfe said. Yes, Ormond said. Whom? Wolfe said. Ormond's gaze moved again, this time not as subtly. To someone who had both motive and proximity, he said. Name them, Wolfe said. Ormond looked at Murch. Murch's face hardened. That's ridiculous. Is it? Wolfe said. Yes, Murch said. I was with Ormond. For part of the time, Wolfe said. Not all. That's your word against mine, Murch said. And against the note, Wolfe said. And against the missing documents. Murch's eyes narrowed. You think I killed him for the company. I think you believed you were about to lose it, Wolfe said. If Mr. Pell possessed evidence of irregularities, he could have exposed you, removed you, ruined you. That's speculation, Murch said. No, Wolfe said. It is motive. And opportunity, Murch said. You were present, Wolfe said. You moved freely. You had reason to approach him before or after Miss Pell. I did not, Murch said. Then explain the mark, Wolfe said. Murch said nothing. Wolfe leaned back. You see, he said, the sequence is not Miss Pell's alone. She approached him, she spoke, he smiled, he relaxed. And then someone else intervened. The silence that followed wasn't empty anymore. It was full of direction, and now, finally, it was narrowing. Murch didn't move at first. That was his instinct, to hold position, to let the pressure pass over him like weather. But Wolfe wasn't weather. He was structure, and once you were inside it, you stayed there until he decided otherwise. You're building a story, Murch said finally. It's clever. It's also wrong. Then correct it, Wolfe said. I've told you what happened, Murch said. We were all on the terrace. Pell stepped away. He fell, and acquired a mark on his throat before doing so, Wolfe said. I didn't touch him, Murch said. Dr. Ormond did not say you did, Wolfe said. He said he observed a mark. He also omitted that observation until pressed. That is significant. Significant of what? Kay snapped. Of fear, Wolfe said, and of knowledge. Dr. Ormond, you withheld information because you feared its implication. That implication now stands. Ormond said nothing. Wolfe turned his head slightly. Mr. Murch, you have been efficient throughout. You have answered without elaboration, and denied without emphasis, and calculated your responses. That is commendable. It is also insufficient. I don't know what you expect, Murch said. I expect consistency, Wolfe said. You claim you remained with Dr. Ormond during the critical interval. Yet Dr. Ormond does not confirm continuous proximity. He states only that you were together for part of the time. Ormond shifted slightly. That is correct. Murch shot him a look. We were together. For how long? Wolfe said. A few minutes, Murch said. And then? Wolfe said. Murch hesitated. And then? Wolfe repeated. I stepped away briefly, Murch said. To where? Wolfe asked. Toward the terrace, Murch said. How far? Wolfe said. Not far, Murch said. Far enough to approach Mr. Pell, Wolfe said. No, Murch said quickly. Define not far, Wolfe said. Murch's jaw tightened. Within sight of the others. Which others? Wolfe said. The group, Murch said. Miss Dane, Miss Pell, Mr. Kay, Wolfe said. Yes. And Mr. Pell was beyond them at the far end, Wolfe said. Yes. Therefore, Wolfe said, you were between the group and Mr. Pell. Murch said nothing. Which places you in a position of transit, Wolfe said. You could approach him without immediate notice. That's conjecture, Murch said. No, Wolfe said. It is geometry. Miss Dane let out a small breath that might have been amusement. Wolfe continued, Now, consider the sequence. Miss Pell approaches Mr. Pell. She speaks, he smiles, he relaxes. At that moment he is vulnerable, not to overt attack, but to subtle intervention. A hand on the throat, applied briefly, not to choke but to startle, to disrupt balance. No, combined with a step backward, it is sufficient. That's absurd, Murch said, but there was less force in it now. Is it? Wolfe said. Dr. Ormond observed a mark consistent with pressure, not prolonged but recent. That aligns with such an action. You're inventing, Murch said. No, Wolfe said. I am assembling. He lifted a finger. And we have not yet considered the documents. What documents? Murch said. The ones Mr. Pell claimed to possess, Wolfe said. The ones no one has seen since his death. The ones that would have exposed irregularities. Yours among them. Murch's face hardened. You have no proof of that. I have inference, Wolfe said, and I have the theft of a will copy from Miss Voss's apartment. That act demonstrates both knowledge and urgency. And the same person who feared the will may have feared the documents. That could be anyone, Kay said. Not anyone, Wolfe said. Someone with access to Miss Voss's knowledge. Someone who knew she had a copy. Someone who believed the will change was relevant to the exposure. Which could be you, Miss Dane said lightly to Kay. Kay ignored her. Wolfe went on. The note, he smiled because he knew me, is an attempt to redirect attention toward familiarity. It suggests that recognition alone explains the smile. That is false. The smile reflects anticipation of advantage. The writer of the note wishes us to ignore that and focus on identity. Why? Lenore asked. Because identity implicates many, Wolfe said. Advantage implicates one. Silence. Wolfe's gaze settled on Murch. You stood to gain the most from Mr. Pell's death, Wolfe said. Some control of the company, removal of a threat, elimination of exposure. You had motive. That doesn't make me a killer, Murch said. You had opportunity, Wolfe said. You moved between the group and the victim. You could approach without attracting attention. You had means. Your hands are sufficient. Murch's hands tightened on the arms of his chair. And you had knowledge, Wolfe said. You understood Mr. Pell's habits. You knew he would step back. You knew he would relax when he believed himself dominant. You're guessing, Murch said. No, Wolfe said. I'm concluding. He leaned forward slightly. And finally, Wolfe said, you have behavior. After the event, you aligned yourself with Dr. Ormond. You supported the narrative of isolation. You did not mention your movement. You denied proximity. And when confronted with the note, you reacted. Not with confusion, but with recognition. Murch's eyes flashed. That's not true. It is, Wolfe said. And you compounded the error by failing to account for the mark on the throat. Dr. Ormond's omission protected you temporarily. His correction has exposed you. The room was very still now. Murch looked around as if searching for support. Kay avoided his gaze. Miss Dane watched with interest. Ormond looked down. Lenore sat motionless. This is insane, Murch said. You have nothing. I have enough, Wolfe said. Inspector Kramer will have the rest. As if on cue, the door opened and Kramer came in, not loudly, but with presence. I've been listening, he said. Door was ajar. Of course it was, I said. Kramer looked at Murch. You want to try that again? Murch stood abruptly. This is ridiculous. I'm leaving. Kramer stepped in front of him. No, you're not. I haven't been charged, Murch said. Not yet, Kramer said. Sit down. Murch hesitated, then sat. Kramer turned to Wolfe. You've got more than talk. I have a sequence, Wolfe said. Mr. Goodwin will provide you with the details. Dr. Ormond will confirm the observation. Miss Pell will confirm proximity. The rest is yours." Kramer nodded slowly. "All right." He looked at Murch again. "You pushed him?" "I did not," Murch said. "You touched him?" Kramer said. "No," Murch said. Kramer's eyes narrowed. "We'll see." He gestured to one of his men at the door. "Take him." Murch didn't resist, but the calculation in his eyes hadn't stopped. It had just changed direction. They took him out. The room exhaled, but not fully. Kramer looked at Wolfe. "You'll write it up," he said. "Archie will," Wolfe said. Kramer nodded. "Good." He left. The others sat for a moment, then began to rise. One by one, as if released by an unseen signal. Lenore paused at the door. "Thank you," she said. Wolfe inclined his head. "You are welcome." Miss Dane smiled faintly. That was satisfying. "Justice often is," Wolfe said. Kay said nothing. Ormond lingered a second, then followed the others out. I closed the door. The brownstone settled. Wolfe leaned back, closed his eyes. "Dinner," he said. Fritz appeared as if summoned by the word. I went to my desk, sat, and looked at the empty room where a few minutes ago everything had been tight and dangerous. "You know," I said, "he really did smile." "Yes," Wolfe said. "Because he thought he'd won," I said. "Yes," Wolfe said. "And that's what got him killed," I said. Wolfe opened one eye. "I know," he said. "That is what made it possible." I considered that. "Human folly," I said. "Human appetite," Wolfe corrected. "For control, for victory, for certainty. And for writing notes afterward," I said. Wolfe closed his eye again. "That," he said, "was merely vanity." I leaned back. "Next time," I said, "I'd like a case with less smiling." "You will not have it," Wolfe said. "Figures," I said. The house was quiet again in the way it earns, not the way it pretends. That's the difference between trouble leaving and trouble being finished. We had the first. Wolfe, as usual, insisted on the second. Dinner had been served and done with proper respect, and Wolfe was back in his chair, which meant the world could resume spinning under supervision. I was at my desk, finishing the written account for Kramer, is when Wolfe spoke without opening his eyes. "Archie." I said. "It is not complete." "I figured you'd say that," I said. "You usually do when something is complete." "It is not a paradox," Wolfe said. "It is a deficiency." I put the pen down. "Murch pushed him, or at least assisted gravity. Kramer's got him. What's missing?" "The note," Wolfe said. "The vanity," I said. "You covered that." "No," Wolfe said. "I identified it. I have not explained it." I leaned back. "You think Murch didn't write it?" "I know he did not," Wolfe said. That got me up. "You're sure?" "Yes." "Then we've got a second player," I said. "Someone who knew enough to stir things." "Yes," Wolfe said. "And who wished to be acknowledged." I went to the desk, picked up the note again. He smiled because he knew me. "Yes," Wolfe said. "Consider the phrasing. And it is not because he knew who I was. It is not defensive. It is declarative. It asserts familiarity as a cause, not an identity as a fact." "So?" I said. "So it is personal," Wolfe said. "Not merely descriptive. The writer wishes to be recognized as the reason for the smile." I frowned. "Not the killer. The reason." "Precisely," Wolfe said. I turned it over. "Then whoever wrote it thinks Pell smiled at them before anything else happened." "Yes." "And that puts them there," I said. "Yes. But they didn't push him," I said. "That was Murch." "Yes. So they were there before Murch," I said slowly. "Or at the same time." Wolfe opened his eyes. "Before," Which means, I said, we've got another approach. Someone else went to Pell before Lenore or after her. After, Wolfe said. Miss Pell has established her sequence. Mr. And Pell smiled at her words. That is consistent. The note claims the smile was for the writer. That is false unless the writer also interacted with him in that moment. Or just after, I said. Yes, Wolfe said. When the smile still lingered. I straightened. So someone came up right after Lenore stepped away. Or as she stepped away, Wolfe said, in the interval before Mr. Murch intervened. I thought about the room, the positions, the movement. That narrows it. It does, Wolfe said. Kay, I said. No, Wolfe said. He avoids proximity unless necessary. Murch was the push, I said. Yes. Ormond was with him mostly, I said. Mostly, Wolfe said. Which leaves. I stopped. Wolfe watched me. Miss Dane, I said. Wolfe inclined his head slightly. She said she was moving toward him, I said. Not close enough. That's what she said. Yes, Wolfe said. And she noticed the turn, I said. Like someone had spoken. Yes, Wolfe said. And she described the smile as inappropriate, I said. Not just odd, personal. Yes, I grinned without humor. She wanted credit. Indeed, Wolfe said. For what? I said. She didn't push him. No, Wolfe said. But she may have provided the final stimulus. I went to the phone. You want her back? Yes, Wolfe said. Immediately. I made the call. She answered herself. Miss Dane, I said. Wolfe would like a word. Now. A pause. Then, I wondered when. She arrived in 20 minutes, composed as ever, but there was something under it now, not fear. Anticipation. You sent for me, she said, stepping into the office. Yes, Wolfe said. Sit. She did. You wrote the note, Wolfe said. She didn't blink. Did I? Yes, Wolfe said. It is yours. She smiled slightly. Prove it. You have already done so, Wolfe said. By coming. That's not proof, she said. No, Wolfe said. This is. You wish to be acknowledged. You wished it to be known that Mr. Pell's final expression was, in part, for you. Her smile thinned. He did recognize me. Yes, Wolfe said. After Miss Pell spoke to him, after he smiled in anticipation of her surrender. You approached, you spoke. What did you say? She was silent for a moment. Miss Dane, Wolfe said, you are not in danger of arrest for murder. Mr. Murch occupies that position. You are, however, in danger of irrelevance. That did it. She leaned back. I told him, she said, that he had already lost. Wolfe nodded. And that amused him. It infuriated him, she said. But he smiled, because he thought I was still playing his game. And you were not, Wolfe said. No, she said. I told him I had seen the documents, that I knew what he intended, and that I had already ensured they would never be used. I felt it click. The documents, I said. You took them? Yes, she said, before dinner. From his study. He was careless with his trophies. And you removed his leverage, Wolfe said. Yes. And told him so, Wolfe said. Yes. And he smiled, Wolfe said, because he believed you were bluffing. Yes, she said softly. And then Miss Pell approached, Wolfe said, and he believed he had both of you under control. Yes. And then Mr. Murch intervened, Wolfe said, and the rest followed. She nodded. And the note? Wolfe said. I wanted it known, she said, that he smiled because of me. It was not just because of her. Vanity, Wolfe said. Justice, she said. Neither, Wolfe said. It is appetite. She stood. Will you tell Kramer? No, Wolfe said. There is no need. Mr. Murch will suffice for him. Your contribution is adjacent. She looked at him, then at me, then nodded once. "Good evening." She left. I closed the door and leaned against it. "Well," I said, "that ties it up." "Yes," Wolfe said. "Lenore gave him the reason to smile," I said. "Dane gave him the reason to keep it. Murch gave him the push." "Yes," Wolfe said. "And the note was just someone wanting their part recognized," I said. "Yes." I went back to my desk, sat and picked up the pen again. "You know," I said, "for a smile, that did a lot of work." Wolfe closed his eyes. "Indeed," he said. "It often does." I wrote the last line, capped the pen, and leaned back. The brownstone was quiet. This time, it meant it.